Welcome to Game 2 of the 1941 World Series presented by On Base Baseball. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator of On Base. And in this game, we're going to replay World Series game number 2 between the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Yankees. This was played in 1941, in the fall of 1941. Features such stars as Joe DiMaggio, Tommy Henrich, Bill Dickey, Joe Sedgwick, Pete Reiser, and others. And terrific game here. Pee Wee Reese is on the this Brooklyn Dodger team as well. And so we're going to get started with this. Game 1 went to the New York Yankees. I played that offline. It was an 8-7 victory for the Yankees. They almost lost it in the end. They gave up 6 runs in the last 3 innings. They were comfortably ahead 8-1, but then gave up 6 in the last 3 innings and eked out an 8-7 victory. They're up 1-0 in the series. In the actual game 1, they did win that game. The Yankees did. In game 2, Brooklyn won the game. And so we'll see how that goes here. Let's go through the starting lineups. For the Dodgers, it's Dixie Walker leading off. Billy Herman is playing second. Pete Reiser is in center field. Dolph Camilli, terrific first baseman, 49 batting runs. So they got a sort of a murderer's row here through the middle. This is a pretty good top 5 in your lineup. He is batting cleanup and batting from the right side. Joe Medwick had a terrific game. I think he was 4 for 5 in game number 1 with a home run. He's batting 5th, and Cookie Lavagetto. I looked it up. It's Jetto, not Ghetto. Lavagetto is the third baseman. He's hitting 6th. Pee Wee Reese, not much of a hitter, but a plus defender. He is at shortstop and batting 7th. Mickey Owen is the catcher. He's hitting 8th. And the pitcher is going to be Whit Wyatt. I recognized him from the 1940s baseball greats, decade greats set. He'll also be on the mound. He's a right-hander. He's got a 30 stamina, and he's got a 2.77 ERA, so he'll be pitching, or FIP, so he'll be pitching out of this column 1. Going for the Yankees, it's Sturm leading off, Johnny Sturm leading off and playing first. Red Rolfe is the third baseman. He's a left-handed batting third baseman, hitting second. Tommy Henrich is the right fielder, big slugging left-hander. Joe DiMaggio in center field. He's got a 67 batting runs. I think this was listed as his best season in the 1940s. Charlie Keller, also big. This 3-4-5 is a pretty formidable 3-4-5. 49 batting runs in 1941. He's a left-handed hitter. Bill Dickey, the catcher, he bats left-handed, and he'll be hitting 6th. Gordon, I think it's Joe Gordon. He is playing second base. Phil Rizzuto is at short. He's hitting right-handed and hitting in the 8th spot. And then Spud Chandler, also in the decade great set for the 1940s. So should have a good pitching matchup here. Spud Chandler is hitting 9th. He is a right-handed batter. He's also a right-handed pitcher. He's got a stamina of 24. So not a... is that right? Yeah. Stamina is 24. And he's got a 3.43 FIP. So it should be a good pitching matchup, at least for the first 5 or 6 innings, and we'll see how this one goes after that. But both pitchers pitching out of this first column, and that should provide plenty of pushback against these middle-of-the-order hitters. Going to be rolling the dice, 2 D6s, 1 D10, that's all we need. And let's get it started. The Game 2 of the 1941 World Series. This is Spud Chandler on the mound facing Dixie Walker, Billy Herman, and Pete Reiser. 15, you can see 15 is a blank. 15 to a 25 is going to be a ground out. And that ground ball goes to first base. So a little flip to the pitcher covering, and that's going to be out number 1 as Dixie Walker goes down. Billy Herman stands in, second baseman for the Dodgers. 45 to a 6 is going to be a long single. Now his speed is only a 4, so he's going to hustle back to first, takes a big turn. But Billy Herman is at first. for Pete Reiser. A 23 is a ground out with an error check. That's right back to the pitcher. No error on the play. The pitcher is Chandler. He's a plus defender. So we're going to go, in this game, I'm going to try to do double plays manually and also double plays automatically. So we're going to go 1-6 on the put out. So that's the fielder's choice. That's out number 2. And then we'll see if they get the runner at first. So Reiser is a 6. So if this is a 1-6, he'll be safe at first on the turn. It's a 5 and he beats it out. So that's going to be 1-6 on the fielder's choice. There'll be 2 down. So in that situation where there's a double play and a grounder, you can check the ground ball. Was it caught or error or whatever? And then if it's okay, then you make that first turn. So that first fielder's choice will be sort of automatic. It's like a ground out. And then you can roll to see if the batter makes it to first. You can use his speed, and if he gets down the line, then he's safe. A slower base runner is not gonna, he's gonna get thrown out more times than not on a potential double play. So that's one way you can work double plays in. If you feel like you're getting too many double plays, you can simply turn the double play or strikeout just into a strikeout, and then do all of your ground outs like I just did. So a little bit of flexibility there with base running and defense especially. So Dolph Camilli is up. He's a right-handed stick. 49 is his batting runs. A 56 is going to be a strikeout. So first strikeout of the day for Spud Chandler as he gets Camilli swinging, and that's going to be the end of the first inning. So no runs as Chandler gets the double play, or I'm sorry, he almost got the double play, but he strands 1. We go to the bottom of the first, and it is no score as the Yankees come up. It'll be Sturm, Rolfe, and Henrik for the Yankees. So we got an 11. 11 comes off of the pitcher column. That's going to be a strikeout as Sturm strikes out swinging against Whit Wyatt. Whit Wyatt was 22-10 with a 2.34 ERA, 288 innings pitched, 176 strikeouts in 288 innings, 1941. We got Red Rolfe. He is a -8 batting runs. Here's a 13. 13 is going to be a ground out. That's going to be a little tapper out in front of the plate. Jumping on it is the catcher Owen, and he'll get it down to first for out number 2. It's going to bring up the powerful Tommy Henrik, Yankee slugger. 14 will be a base hit. So that's a base hit past the first baseman. And the Yankees get 1 on with 2 outs. And Jolton Joe DiMaggio standing at the plate. 56 is going to be a strikeout, though, as he goes down swinging. And he'll be the 3rd out of the inning. The Yankees strand 1. And we head to the top of the 2nd inning. Brooklyn 0, New York 0. This is an all New York World Series. And one of the highlights of the 1941 season. This is played with the 41 on-base baseball set that I just released. You can get all of these cards as either carded players or like I'm using them with the roster sheets. You can see before that I've separated the roster sheets into different teams. So you got 1 team on each sheet. So you can just print off the teams that you want. Did the same thing for the batters. All right, top of the 2nd inning, it's Spud Chandler out again for his 2nd inning of work. He'll face off against Joe Medwick, Cookie Lavagetto, and Pee Wee Reese. A 36 to a 28 batting runs is going to be a fly ball. That's out to right center field. Ranging over is the right fielder Henrik, and he'll make the play in the gap for out number 1. Brings up Cookie Lavagetto, 3rd baseman. He's got a 10 batting runs. 36 is going to be same thing. Yep, that'll be a fly out to down the right field line, and coming back the other way is going to be Tommy Henrich. He'll make the play on the line, and that's out number 2. Pee Wee Reese, the shortstop, is a 46. 46 is going to be another fly ball, this time out to center field. And making the play in center field is Joe DiMaggio. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Brooklyn in the top of the second. And we head to the bottom of the second. Still no score in this one. The Yankees will send up Charlie Keller, Bill Dickey, and Joe Gordon. A 16 to Charlie Keller, who had 49 batting runs, big left-handed stick. 16 is going to be a fly out. That is to straightaway left field. The left fielder is Medwick, and he barely had to move as he makes the out for out number 1. Bill Dickey, left-handed hitting catcher. 66 is going to be a home run as he takes one out to the opposite field as he scrapes it over the wall in Yankee Stadium, and that's going to be home run number 1 in the series for him. And the Yankees take a 1-0 lead on the Bill Dickey solo home run. Brings up Joe Gordon. He's a right-handed batter, second baseman for the Yankees. 23 is going to be a ground out with an error check that goes to the shortstop. No problem there for Pee Wee Reese as he gets it over to first. That'll be out number 2. Yankees down to their last out in the second inning. They're up 1-0 now on the Bill Dickey home run. They send up their shortstop, Phil Rizzuto, to the plate. He's a -1 batting runs. 16 to a -1 is going to be a fly ball. That's into right center field, no problem there. For the right fielder, Dixie Walker, as he'll make the catch for out number 3. But the Yankees get on the board first with the Bill Dickey home run. And we are at 1-0 New York as we go to the top of the third. Bottom of the order for the Dodgers, it'll be Owen, the pitcher spot, Wyatt, and Dixie Walker. 15 to a -19 is going to be a ground ball. That's a hot shot to shortstop, but no problem for Phil Rizzuto as he gets it to first in time to get the catcher. Brings up the pitcher, Whit Wyatt. Whit Wyatt, terrific alliteration, Whit Wyatt. A 16, that's going to be a fly ball out to right center field. That's a can of corn for the right fielder, Henrich. And that'll be out number 2 as he makes the catch. Brings up Dixie Walker. Walker grounded out to first in his first at-bat. 15 is going to be another ground ball. This time it goes to second base as he rolls over top of that pitch. And that is another 1-2-3 inning for Spud Chandler as he gets out of the third. With New York still in the lead, 1-0. They'll send up Chandler and then back to the top of the order with Sturm and Rolfe. Chandler, not a great hitter. He's a -8 batting run, so he'll be here in the last column. 25 to a -8 is going to be a fly out to center field, but that's going to be an error check. Let's see if there's an error on the center fielder. That'll be Pete Reiser. No problem there as he makes the catch. And that's out number 1 in the bottom of the third inning. Whit Wyatt has had 1 mistake so far and has been pitching really well. 46 to a -28 is going to be a fly ball. This goes down the left field line. Hustling over to the line is Medwick, and he's going to make the catch right on the line. Why am I doing that? It's here. He makes the catch on the line, and that's going to be out number 2. Last chance for the Yankees in the bottom of the third inning is going to be Red Rolfe. Rolfe grounded out to the catcher, his first at-bat. 44 to a -8 is going to be a walk. So Rolfe gets on with the first walk of the day. And the Yankees have 1 on in front of Tommy Henrich. Henrich, 31 batting runs in 1941. 26 is going to be a single with an error check. That's a base hit right up the middle. No error on the play. With 2 outs, the runner is going to go to third. And the Yankees are in business. They have runners at the corners, but there are 2 outs. And what's going to break first? Will it be DiMaggio or Whit Wyatt? DiMaggio struck out in his first at bat. He's got a 46 here, and he's going to fly out here as he gives it a pretty good ride out to right center field. But the right fielder, Dixie Walker, ranges back and makes the catch near the warning track, and that's going to be out number 3. So the Yankees strand 2 on, runners at the corners, and they can't push them home. They still lead 1-0 though as we go to the top of the 4th inning. It'll be Billy Herman, Pete Reiser, and Dolph Camilli. A 36 to a 6 is going to be a fly ball that is into right center field, and that is out number 1 as the right fielder Henrik makes the catch. A 33 could be trouble here as Reiser is a 46. A 33 is going to be a double or a strikeout. A strikeout, if this is a 7 or greater, it's a 5. And that is a 2-bagger over the center fielder's head. DiMaggio couldn't get to that one as it one-hops the wall. And that's going to be Pete Reiser in there for a leadoff double. He is 1 for 2 in the game. So Reiser in scoring position for Dolph Camilli. Camilli is a 49 batting runs. Won't matter here as Spud Chandler gets the strikeout. Just his 2nd K of the day. But he gets Chandler going through a pitch. And that is going to be out number 2. Big out there. Still a dangerous situation as a single will score a run. This will be a fly ball, though. This goes out to right field. We'll check Henrik. Henrik is a minus defender. And so he... Oh, let me see. 28. So 25 to 28. Okay, yeah, that's a error check out there. Oh, we got an error. And that's going to be an error on the right fielder, Henrik. With the runner going, he's going to score from second with 2 outs. So he was going on the play, and the runner definitely would score in that situation, so I don't mind giving him that. And the game is tied now on the error from Tommy Henrik. And we got a good one here. Cookie Lavagetto. He flied out in his first at-bat. He's got a 16 here. That's going to be another fly ball. This goes out to right field. This time Henrik, with nerves of steel, puts it away. A little bit shaky out there, but he does make the play. And we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, tied at 1. New York is going to send Charlie Keller, Bill Dickey, and Joe Gordon to the plate. Charlie Keller, terrific left fielder, 49 batting runs. So... 2nd best hitter on the team behind Joe DiMaggio in 1941. A 33 is going to be a double or a strikeout. Same thing as we had before. This time it's a strikeout. And that'll be a strikeout swinging. So Keller goes down. And Bill Dickey to the plate. Dickey accounted for the 1 run for the Yankees with a wall scraper home run to left field. And this is a 46. A 46 to a 7 is going to be a fly ball. And that goes into left center field as he shoots it the other way again. This time it's going to be the center fielder, who is that, Reiser, who goes over and makes the catch in the gap. Nice play in center to rob Bill Dickey of another hit. Joe Gordon stands in. He grounded out in his first at-bat. He's going to fly out here as he hits a lazy fly ball out into right center field. It'll be Dixie Walker ranging over, and he makes the catch for out number 3. Shutdown inning for Brooklyn as they go 1-2-3 against the Yankees. We go to the top of the 5th. We're tied at 1 in Game 2 of this 1941 World Series. Tight one here. Spud Chandler still out there, not even to 18 batters yet. He can go 24 before we have to deal with his stamina. And he'll face off against Pee Wee Reese, Mickey Owen, and the pitcher, Whit Wyatt. 24 is going to be a strikeout. So strikeout number 3 on the day for Spud Chandler. We have 1 down in the inning, and Mickey Owen standing in. He grounded out to short in his first at-bat. He's going to hit a fly ball here. This one goes out to left center field. We'll check the center fielder. This is DiMaggio. He's a plus defender, and the roll is a 7. That's going to be an out. To center field as DiMaggio goes back on that one and makes a nice over-the-shoulder catch. Brings up the pitcher, Whit Wyatt. We have a 15. That's going to be for a -4 batting runs. That's going to be a base hit for the pitcher as he hits one past the third baseman into left field. And that's going to bring up Dixie Walker. Walker's 0 for 2 with a couple of ground outs. This time he's going to get it in the air, but that's going to be an out into left center field as Jolton Joe DiMaggio makes the catch. That is going to be out number 3. Brooklyn strands a base runner in the top of the 5th inning. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It is Brooklyn 1 and New York 1. It'll be Rizzuto, Chandler, and Sturm coming to bat for the Yankees in the bottom of the 5th inning. They're still facing Whit Wyatt. This will be a fly ball out to right field, and no problem out there in right field for Dixie Walker. He barely had to move, and that's going to be out number 1. I'm sorry, that was Rizzuto. Spud Chandler, the pitcher, is up next. 26 to the pitcher is going to be a walk. Always a terrible idea to walk the pitcher. And that's going to bring up Sturm to the plate. Sturm is 0 for 2 with the strikeout and the flyout. 15 is going to be a ground out. That goes to the shortstop. So we're going to get the automatic fielder's choice here at first. That'll be out number 2. And then we roll against Sturm's speed. A 1 to 3, he'll be safe at first. Otherwise, that is an ending double play. It's 6, and that is a double play as they go 6 to 4 to 3, and that will end the inning for the Yankees. So nice defense from Brooklyn as they keep the score knotted at 1 in the bottom of the 5th. We go to the top of the 6th. That'll be Herman, Reiser, and Camilli, heart of the order for the Brooklyn Dodgers. They're still facing off against Chandler. He's at 19 batters. This will be his 20th. So we'll see how he does through this inning. 26 to a 6 batting runs is going to be a ground ball. That goes to shortstop. No problem for Rizzuto as he wings it over to first for out number 1. Herman now 1 for 3. Reiser with the double in his last at-bat scored on the error from Tommy Henrich. He stands in 1 for 2 on the day. A 23 is going to be a ground out. That goes to the third baseman. We'll see if there's an error there. The third baseman, Rolf, is a plus defender, and so that helps him to avoid the error as he knocks it down, gets it to first, and gets his man by a step. Brings up Dolph Camilli. Camilli 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. He's going to make that 0 for 3, and he's got the hat trick as he strikes out looking this time. 3 at-bats, 3 strikeouts from Spud Chandler, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for the Yankees. We're still tied at 1, and we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. New York will send up their heart of the order, Rolf, Henrich, and DiMaggio. Still facing off against Wyatt. Wyatt can go 30 batters before we have to do anything with his stamina. One of the best pitchers. These are 2 of the best pitchers of the entire 1940s decade. So this is exactly the game I would have expected coming into it. In fact, the actual game was a 3-2 victory. So definitely playing along with the actual storylines. This will be Joe Medwick. He's, I'm sorry, I keep going back up to the top. Red Rolf. Rolf is 0 for 1. He does have a walk. 35 is going to be a strikeout. That's right. Yep. That's going to be a strikeout as Whit Wyatt gets the old strikeout pitch working. That's strikeout number 4 on the day for him. And brings up Tommy Henrich. Henrich is 0 for 2. I mean, it's 2 for 2, sorry. This time he's going to fly out right off of the pitcher's column. This will be a can of corn out to left field. And you see that instead of a walk, it becomes a fly out. So that's how the pitcher affects the at-bat. 2 down in the inning for Joe DiMaggio. Nobody on base. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a flyout. He's got a ground out here, so a little bit of everything as he taps it down the third base line. Out quickly on it is Mickey Owen, and he'll make the play to first. Gets DiMaggio by half a step, and that is going to be out number 3. So we go to the top of the 7th inning. Brooklyn and New York are tied at 1. It's Joe Medwick, Cookie Lavagetto, and Pee Wee Reese for the Brooklyn Dodgers. 18, 19, 20, 1, 2. Still haven't met Spud Chandler's stamina yet. So we're going to leave him in the game, and he is going to face this middle of the order, 5, 6, 7 for the Dodgers. 16 to a 28 is going to be a fly out. That goes to the right center field gap. Ranging over is Tommy Henrich, and he'll make a nice play on the jog. That's out number 1. Brings up Cookie Lavagetto. Lavagetto with a couple of flyouts to Tommy Henrich. This time he's going to fly out again to Tommy Henrich. These two guys here just can't do anything but hit it right to Henrich, the right fielder. And it's going to bring up Pee Wee Reese. He's a minus 23 batting run, so not really terrific there. So he grounds out. That's going to be a 2-hopper to short. No problem for Rizzuto. And that's a 1-2-3 inning in the 7th inning for the Dodgers. We head to the bottom of the 7th. It is New York 1, Brooklyn 1. New York is up in the series 1-0. And we have a terrific pitcher's duel here. The Yankees are going to send up Charlie Keller, Bill Dickey, and Joe Gordon to the plate. Keller is 0 for 2. They're still facing Whit Wyatt, who's at 19, 20, 21, 22 batters. If he gets the lead, he could really push through to the end of the game. We'll see what happens here against Charlie Keller. A 24 is going to be a strikeout, and that is a strikeout looking as he gets his 5th K of the day. And that is nice work from Wyatt as he struck out Charlie Keller twice today. 23 is going to be a ground out. That goes to the shortstop. It's a scorcher, and we'll check the error there. The shortstop is Pee Wee Reese. He's a plus defender, and he'll make the play there. He knocks it down, picks it up, gets it over to first in plenty of time to get the catcher Dickey. Solid play there by Pee Wee Reese. Brings up Joe Gordon. Joe Gordon is 0 for 2. He's got a ground out and a fly out. He's going to ground out here for the 2nd time. This also goes to Pee Wee Reese. And Reese is going to make the play over to first. That's a 1-2-3 inning. Both pitchers still going strong here. Into the 8th inning now. Top of the 8th. And we are going to have to drop Spud Chandler down a column. And we'll see how that affects the game. If he starts to get into trouble, we can bring in a pitcher. Don't know exactly who. When I look at the roster sheets and I start thinking about who to bring in, I start looking here at games started. The first relief pitcher is here, Steve Peak. And, that's not exactly a terrific fit. We got Johnny Murphy. Might be a good option there with a 3.64. He came in 35 games, so you can see he's probably their top reliever. No games started, but 35. He had 8 wins, 1.98 ERA. So I think Johnny Murphy is probably going to be our first option out of the pen, especially if Chandler gets in trouble. And 11 to Chandler was a strikeout, but it is not anymore. So that's going to be a blank, and we'll see how that happens with Mickey Owen. That's going to be, the result is a base knock for Owen, the catcher. He's now 1 for 3 and standing at first base. Do we let Wyatt hit? That's the question. He doesn't have good speed. Let's go ahead and just drop down a bunt. and we'll bunt with the pitcher just to make sure we get that guy in scoring position with 1 out. And 1 or a 2 is an unsuccessful bunt, and the lead runner will be out. Oh my goodness, it is a 1, and that means it's a fielder's choice. The lead runner is out, and we'll call that the third baseman. So we go bunted too hard to third, and we go 5-4. A lot of times I'll do a pop out there. We'll just say 5-4. That was an excellent play by the third baseman, Red Rolf, to get the slow-footed catcher. Oh boy. So 1 out, runner at first base still, and we got a 35 to Dixie Walker. 35 is going to be a strikeout. Dixie Walker with his first K of the day, and that is out number 2. That's 3, 4, 5 strikeouts on the day for Spud Chandler. Strikeout not as big a part of the game as it is today, obviously. And we got Bill Herman coming up. This could be real trouble for the Yankees as Bill Herman tags one. This one goes out to left field. It is up, get up, baby, and that is out for a 2-run home run. And just like that, the Dodgers are ahead 3-1. Coming around to score is the pitcher, Wyatt. Wow, that is a turn of events here in the top of the 8th inning as Billy Herman turns on a fastball and deposits it into the left field stands. That gives the Dodgers a 3-1 lead, and there are 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. We got a 36, and everybody can see everything. We got a 36, and that is for Pete Reiser. Reiser is 1 for 3. He's got a double with a run scored. 36 is going to be a long single. He's got a 6 speed, so that means that he turns that single into a double as he hits one just to the left of the center fielder, and he's going to make it in there for 2 baggers. Center fielder is shading him a little bit to the right field side. 2 down with a runner in scoring position, another 36. This goes to Camille. And Camille is a 49 batting runs. That's another long single. And this one is just getting worse for the Yankees as they give up another RBI single with 2 down. And we are going to have to bring in a new pitcher, I think. We'll get Spud Chandler out of there. And it will be, who did I say? Johnny Murphy. So Murphy is a right-handed pitcher. And 3-6-4, so he's basically pitching out of the same column. But sometimes it's weird. They can pitch out of the same column, but you bring in a new pitcher and he just shuts everything down, just like you're bringing in a different quality of pitcher. I don't know how that works, but it does work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. And we don't know how many runs. He's responsible for this guy here, but he's got at least 2, 3, 4, at least 4 runs he's on the hook for. He had no walks and 5 Ks. He goes 7 2/3. And we'll see how this one winds up. For Spud Chandler, into the game is Johnny Murphy. Johnny Murphy, he was 8-3 with a 1.98 ERA, 77 innings pitched. He had 15 saves, and feels like this is the save opportunity here. So he comes in against Joe Medwick. Medwick, 28 batting runs. He is 0 for 3 today. He's hit the ball every time to Tommy Henrich, and we'll see what he does here. A 15 is going to be a ground out. So he finally hits it on the ground to somebody other than the right fielder. And this is going to be a 4-3 put out at first. They finally get the third out of the inning, but not before Brooklyn scores 3 to take a 4-1 lead. And that's a tough one for the Yankees as they're going to go to the bottom of the 8th inning down by 3 runs. They'll send up Phil Rizzuto, the pitcher spot, and Sturm. I think we'll just leave Johnny Murphy in there. He can go 10 batters, and he was basically an end of the game kind of guy for them. So we'll let him do that. Still pitching out of the first column. We got 18, so this is 27, 26, 25. His stamina is 30, so he can stay in this column at least for this inning. 36 to a -1 is going to be a fly ball. That goes out into the left center field gap. Ranging over to make the play is going to be Joe Medwick, and that is out number 1 in the 8th. Whit Wyatt's been given a lead, and he's trying to hold it here in the bottom of the 8th inning against the Yankees. It will be Johnny Murphy. Just insert him in here. He's a pitcher. Let's see. Murphy. Did he even get any at-bats? He did. So, right-handed batter, he's a -4, +3. So he's coming in here. And Murphy, let's re-roll again. Re-roll the dice. 15 to a -4. That's actually going to be a base hit. So the Yankees get 1 on. And the pitcher, not a lot of speed, is a 3. Sturm comes to the plate. Sturm is going to ground out, but this is going to be a runner advancement. You can see it ground out with an advance. That means it's a little tapper. Just past the mound, coming in hard is Pee Wee Reese. He's going to scoop it and make the throw to first for out number 2, but that runner is going to move along to second base. There was no opportunity to get him at second. So when there's a ground out with a runner advance, that's like a fielder's choice. The only play is to first, and so you just go to first, and then all the runners advance. Could be that they knock them in from third on that kind of play. Red Rolf is a -8. A 66 on a -8. This is a chance for a home run. So a single or a home run if it's a 9. The D10 is a 3. And so that's going to be a base hit. That'll score the run from third. So the pitcher comes in. That's an RBI. And we're going to stick with Wyatt at this point, but that cuts the lead to 4-2, Brooklyn over New York. And the heart of the order is coming up to bat. 15, though, that's going to be a ground out as Tommy Henrich hits a hot shot up the middle. Good play by Pee Wee Reese. He's going to make the play over to first, and that is out number 3. But the Yankees do get 1 back as they try to claw back into this one. Brooklyn leads 4-2. We're heading to the top of the 9th inning. It'll be Cookie Lavagetto, Pee Wee Reese, and Mickey Owen for the Dodgers. Still facing off against Murphy. 22 is a blank there. And so a 10 on a 22, we should be here. 10 to 30 is this one. So this is up to a 10. That's a double or triple 7. So that's going to be a 2-bagger down the line as Cookie Lavagetto ropes one down the line and left field, and he's going to wind up at second base. Got a runner in scoring position with nobody out for Pee Wee Reese. 24 to Reese is going to be a strikeout as he gets caught looking. And that is out number 1. Nice pitch from Murphy. Mickey Owen stands in. A 45 is going to be a long single. So with 1 out, that's going to score the run from second base. A long single just means that everybody gets the number of bases for the hit plus 1. So runner at second is going to score on a long single, and that puts Brooklyn up 5-2. And the pitcher is standing in. A 16 is going to be a fly out. That's to deep left field. And that's going to push the runner up to second base. On the F7. I don't know. That'll be all messed up. But a fly out there. It's deep enough to move the runner to second base. And we are going to have Dixie Walker come to the plate. He's got 4 at-bats, no hits. That could be changing here. 34 to Dixie Walker is going to be a flyout or a strikeout if it's a 6. So we'll see here. It's a 7, so that's going to be a strikeout. And that strikeout is looking. So back-to-back Ks for him. And that will end the 3rd inning as Johnny Murphy, gets 2 strikeouts in the inning, but he does give up another run. It's now 5-2 Brooklyn over New York. And we're going to send Whit Wyatt out there for his last inning. Let's see if he can complete this game. He's got 27, 8, 9, 30. So he's right at his stamina. He's not past it. And we're going to let him pitch out of this last column. One more inning. He's got Joe DiMaggio at first. Let's see if he can take care of business. Joe is 0 for 4 on the day. He had a 2-run single, I think, in the first game. And here he's a 67, 26 to a 67. That's going to be a base hit, so he gets a knock. It's a long single, but he's going to take a big turn and come back to first base. And he will be at first with nobody out. Brings up Charlie Keller. Keller pretty silent today. A 14, though, is going to be another hit. So this is back-to-back singles. And DiMaggio is a 5 speed. It's a base hit to left field, so we're going to hold him there. So 2 on and nobody out for Bill Dickey. Dickey already with 1 home run in this game. A 15 is going to be a 3rd straight single. So 3 straight singles for the Yankees is going to load the bases. And the bases are juiced with the Yankees, and we're going to take Wyatt out. Let's go ahead and get a new pitcher in here. I'm not sure who to go with, so let me put this on pause. All right, new pitcher is going to be Hugh Casey. He is a right-handed pitcher. He had 7 saves for Brooklyn, so we'll see if he can come in and save the game here. He's replacing Whit Wyatt, who had a really good start, 8 innings, 8 hits. So far, he's only given up 2 runs, but he was responsible for all 3 runners on base. We'll see how that turns out. 2 walks and 5 strikeouts. Brooklyn is up 5-2, so they got a little bit to play with here. And they're going to play the infield back to try to play for the double play. We got Joe Gordon to the plate. Gordon with average speed, not super fast. So if he could beat out a double play, that would be a run scored for sure. And keep the inning more than alive. Nobody out, and it is Joe Gordon to the plate. A 56 to an 18 batting runs. That is going to be really bad. That's going to walk in a run. And an RBI for Joe Gordon as the runner comes in from third base. That's Joe DiMaggio coming home to score. Everybody's going to move up 1. No out recorded. And we still have bases loaded. Necktie getting real tight here as Phil Rizzuto stands in. Rizzuto is 0 for 3. He's flied out 3 times. A 13 is going to be a ground out, and this goes to the shortstop. So we got a chance for a double play here. Rizzuto is a 6, though, so he's going to be tough to double up. We are going to take the automatic fielder's choice at second base. That'll be out number 1. A run is going to score here. So whatever happens, that run is going to score. And let's roll against Phil Rizzuto. A 1-6, he'll be safe at first. It's a 2, and he's safe at first on the fielder's choice. So we go 6-4 on the fielder's choice. We're going to wind up with runners at the corners, and the lead now is 5-4. 5-4. We got the pitcher spot coming up, so let's get a pinch hitter here for the New York Yankees. All right, the new batter is going to be Selkirk. His name is George Selkirk. He's a backup outfielder. He's a left-handed batter, has a -2 batting runs and a 4 speed. He'll come in and pinch hit for the pitcher. Selkirk in a situation here. We got first and third, 2 already in. The Yankees were down by 3 coming into the bottom of the 9th inning. It's now 5-4 as they have scored 2 runs, and they have runners at the corners with only 1 out. So let's see if Selkirk can lift one in the air The game will end on a 24 or a 44, as those are automatic double plays. So let's see how this one goes. It's a 24, look at that. And that is a perfectly placed ball to the shortstop. We go Pee Wee Reese to Billy Herman to Dolph Camilli, and that 6-4-3 is going to end the game as we get the fielder's choice here for out number 2. And Selkirk bounces into a killer double play as the Yankees come up just short in this one, and they are going to fall to the Dodgers 5-4 in game number 2. The series is now tied at 1 apiece, and we'll head over across town to Brooklyn, and it will be for game number 3. Let me come back with the totals for each team. All right, and we are back with our game totals here. For Brooklyn, it's 5 runs on 9 hits, no errors. For the New York Yankees, it is 4 runs on 8 hits and 1 error. Brooklyn ties up the series at 1 game apiece in this 1941 World Series. For the Dodgers, it's going to be Billy Herman, player of the game. 2 for 4 with a home run and 2 RBIs. He had a base hit in the first inning. But 2-run homer in the 8th inning was sort of the put-away home run for this game. Other notables, 2 for 4 for Mickey Owen with an RBI single here in the same inning, in the 8th inning. I'm sorry, in the 9th inning. And that turned out to be the deciding run, but the big blow came in the 8th. For the Dodgers, it's Whit Wyatt with the win. He goes 8 innings, gives up 8 hits, only 4 runs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Casey comes in for the save, 1 inning, no hits, no runs, 1 walk, and no strikeouts. He got the big double play to end the game with runners at first and second and only 1 out. The Yankees down by just 1 run. For the Yankees, it was Spud Chandler who takes the loss, 7 2/3, 7 hits, only 4 runs given up, and 5 strikeouts against no walks. Johnny Murphy comes in. He did allow 1 run here on the RBI single, but otherwise pitched pretty well for the Yankees. 2 for 4 day for Tommy Henrich, but not much power. Just a couple of singles. 2 for 4 for Bill Dickey. He did display some power with a home run to left field. But not much else happening here for the Yankees. Joe DiMaggio 1 for 4, just with 1 single and a run scored. That didn't happen until inning number 9. So the Yankees offense shut down by Whit Wyatt, and Brooklyn actually evens up the series at 1 apiece. So we'll go on and see what we can do with game 3. But this is using the 1941 set for on-base baseball. You can get that at clarkandaddisongaming.com, clarkandaddisongaming.com. And the 41 season is going to be free, so you can go and download that. Consider that kind of a demo set. It was a terrific season. Joe DiMaggio with his hit streak that year. Ted Williams hit 406. And so that was just sort of one of those magical years where some big things were happening. The Yankees were good. The Dodgers obviously were really good. They were sort of like right before Jackie Robinson and Campanella and all those guys started coming up. So you're sort of right there in prime time. Pee Wee Reese, obviously, on this team. And they had some great players here with Reiser, Camilli, Joe Medwick. I mean, these are some players, Dixie Walker. These are some really good players that they have on their team. Same with the Yankees. The Yankees, kind of a really solid team in the early 40s. So good series here, and just encourage you, if you're interested in the game at all, or you're curious about it and you don't want to put out the money for an entire season set or get a smaller like World Series set, then you can download this one for free and play out the entire season if you want to. We get all of the roster sheets. So they're player cards, but you also get all of these roster sheets. So you can see all of the players are on one sheet. I just do the pitchers front and back, and then do the hitters front and back. There are few enough players Although the Dodgers have a lot of players here, but there are few enough players that you can put everybody on one side of a piece of paper. So go ahead and there's really no cost to you other than printing out a few pages or printing out the cards. If you like it, we have lots of other sets. We got 19, and as far as the classic sets are concerned, 1967 is out there, 72, 75, 1991, 95, 98, and then 2004. So if you're a Red Sox fan, you would know that one. 2016, if you're a Cubs fan, you definitely know that one. And then all of the most recent seasons, right? So from 2019 all the way through 23 are available as well. So if you are interested in baseball in the last few years, actually 2020 is not available, but otherwise 19, 21, 22, 23 are all available with cards, with the roster sheet sets, and it comes with all the game components that you need, including the game engine chart. This one is for the 1940s, and it has been contextualized for that particular decade, but you can actually download multiple game engine charts. I provide those for free. So there's a version of the game that if you want to look at the DIY kit, my whole goal for this game was that it be provided for free. So the only thing I really charge for is the gathering and compiling of the data and the card making process. So that's really what I charge for. But otherwise, if you go to the free section at clarkandaddisongaming.com, you can find the DIY kit and download everything you need, including the game engine chart. I have two different kinds of score sheets. One is by inning, and then this one is by at bat. You can get basically everything that you would get in a purchase set. You just don't get the players or the cards. So you would have to go and find that data yourself. So if you're interested in doing that or interested in putting together a unique kind of set, you can do that just by going there. If you purchase any of the seasons, you can go through and purchase any of the game engine charts. And if you really think the 1970s or 80s baseball is where it's at, and that's really the purity and the essence of baseball in the world, then you can download the 70s or the 80s game engine, put today's players in that run environment, and see how they would perform, how they would do in that particular environment. Now, obviously, if you're playing with the cards, it's going to have contextualized information on their cards themselves. So you would just need to look. I don't think I have any cards here. You would need to look at their batting runs here, and either you would just need to use the cards in conjunction with the game engine chart if you wanted to do cards, but also put them in a different run environment. Otherwise, you can just take their information, put it over here, and then use just like I did, where you use the batting runs and the game engine chart. So if you're going to play with the roster sheets, you need at least one of these game engine charts in order to be able to play the game. But you can use any game engine chart from the 1940s all the way through the 2000 teens, actually up to modern times. So I have one for the 2000 teens, and then I have one for sort of today's version of baseball as well. So you can use any of those game engine charts to play the game. The game is completely and totally contextualized. It is built for cross-era play, so if you want to put two guys against each other. In fact, I'm working on releasing a Decade Greats set, and I've been playing those Decade Greats against one another. I don't think I have one. Let's see. I don't really have a Decade Great sheet, I don't think. No, I don't have one of those down here with me, but they've been playing against each other. I've done some intra-squad games, and I've done like intra-decade kind of games where you split up into the same decade into two teams. And then I've also done decade against decade. And so that's been a lot of fun, just to kind of put the two decades against each other. I think the last one I played was the 1950s against the 2000 teens, and the 50s team just waxed I mean, you're talking like the middle of the order is Mantle, Aaron, and Eddie Matthews. So it's like, three of the top 10 greatest players of all time are in the middle of your order. So it's kind of fun, actually, to do that and to put those teams together. And so if you're more interested in like seeing great players on the field all the time or doing some kind of draft league with those players, you could do that as well. So lots of fun things that you can do with the game. Kind of the sky is the limit. It's a vanilla canvas for you to create the game that you really want. That was my entire intention with building the game the way that I did. It's essentially just a souped up version of an old dice rolling game that kids would roll dice on a rainy day on a weekend. Neighborhood kids would get together and roll dice and play dice baseball games. So it's sort of a modified souped up version of that, which if you go back in reality, that's what APA is. That's what Stratomatic is. They're just more complex versions of these dice rolling games that we really liked, or people really liked in the 20s, 30s, 40s. Actually, they've been playing them since baseball was around. And so we use probabilities and we use things like that. And I'm also using sabermetric stats to sort of cordon off the players not into one column or one category, but 4 different categories for pitchers, 4 for batters. And then mixing and matching those categories together gives us a very unique game every time. And you can see it's pretty quick playing. I'm talking a lot, but the game itself is only about 40 minutes. And you can get through everything that you need to. And I'm even rolling dice. There's an online dice roller that you can use to sort of speed up the process of the game. It gives you a true D9, and you don't have to re-roll or anything because there's a D10. So you get a true D9, and 9 is a great number for baseball. Everything is divided up into 3s and 9s, multiples of 3 or 9. And so 9 just makes sense, but a D9 is kind of hard to come by. So you can use a D10. If you get a 10 or 0, my die, it's a 0, which acts as a 10. So if you get a 0 or a 10, you just re-roll. You really want to try to keep that 1 to 9 ratio percentage, and it's 11%. If you use 10, it's 10%, not a huge deal if you're okay living with that 1%. But if you really want to play it straight up like the game is designed, then it's a 1 to 9 roll. And then you have that to work with for some of the details of the game and the base running and stuff like that. So the game is super fun, plays super easy. If you want to introduce someone to dice baseball or cards and dice baseball or tabletop baseball or a baseball board game, this is a really good one to use. It's way less daunting and easier to manipulate and deal with than even APA, which seems easy enough to just roll, get a number, read off a chart. But this one, you don't need any charts. If you don't want to, you can play straight off of the cards. I don't have any cards down here with me, but you can play straight off the cards. And you essentially are doing the same thing. You roll, look on the pitcher card. If there's a blank, go to the batter card. If there's a result, then you take that result off the pitcher card. And I sometimes get not complaints, but just concerns that the pitchers don't affect anything the way they should. But most of the reports that come in are that it's statistically accurate and comes within 1% of actual stats. I think you really need to make sure that you play the game for a while and get some games in. Play a month of a season, play 25 games. And then I think you'll start to see how in the aggregate, the statistics are going to come out pretty accurate. You can tell this is the game engine and it's built only on statistics. So it has to come out pretty close to the way it should be, unless you're manipulating the dice in some form or fashion. The percentages work out, within 1% or 1.5%. Even though I'm only using 21 rolls, there are only 21 possibilities because I'm only using the low number first, right? You're reading the low number first, and you're not reading, it's not 11 to 66. It's 11 to 66 with a low number first, which is not the same as ABBA. So there's only a 14, there's not a 41. So that type of thing is the reality in this game. So even though there's only 21 results, the statistics come out pretty close. The percentages are, for doubles, it's 2.78%, I think, chance on each roll. And then for a non-double, it's 5 whatever that is, 5.5-ish, 5.6% chance for a double. So 5.55, I think, is what it kind of rounds out to. So you can see that you can get pretty close. And then within that, I have these sort of split results where it's this or this, depending on what this D9 die is. So that helps to cut down. So here, that's a 2.78% chance of a double, but it's a triple if the D9 is an 8 or a 9. So that cuts in. So it's the triple is 20% of that 2.78%. So we can sort of get more fine tuning in there, and that's come along as the game has evolved. That wasn't always like that, but just needing to get a more fine grained number, we've begun to use that, and you can see that somewhere on the home runs. Here's one: singles or home runs only if it's a 9. So it's like an 11% chance out of that 66 roll that you're going to hit a home run, which is, going to be typical for a person in that last column. That would be a pitcher. That would be a guy like Pee Wee Reese, who's a minus 24 batting runs. But Pee Wee Reese had exactly 2 home runs in how many at-bats? 595 at-bats. So not a big home run hitter, but he could poke one out. It is possible. And so we want to keep that possibility there as well. So basically it's a 11% chance out of 2.78. So you do the math, figure that out, and that's probably really close to what his home run possibility was. So we use some split results like that for the hitters, just so we can get a little bit closer to their ratings, to their statistics. And the way that the pitchers work, you can see here that this is a number 1 pitcher. So an 11, instead of a walk, it becomes a strikeout. And instead of a walk or a single, it becomes a flyout. So you're taking away hits. The pitchers are really about taking away hits from the batters or adding hits. You can add a home run in here at 33. Normally that might be a double or a triple. But instead, if it's off of a bad pitcher or a tiring pitcher, it becomes a home run instead. So they can change and manipulate the results. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but these are strategically placed so as to match up the pitchers in each column. So what I do at the beginning of each time that I do one of these game engine charts, I take the entire decade, I average everything out, and then I average everything out by the different pitchers' columns, basically. So 0 to 350 is a FIP. That's one category. 350 to 425 is sort of category number 2. 425 to 475 is the third column. And then anything 475 and above gets put into the very last column. So these are your absolute worst pitchers. So I take those, I compare them to the average hitter, like combined hitting, and then I try to make sure that they are kind of attacking those spots so that they wind up with better pitchers are probably going to strike out more, they're going to walk fewer people. So I'm trying to put them in strategic positions where they manipulate or they sort of cover over what the result would normally be for a batter. You can go ahead and play without any sort of pitcher interaction in this, and the results will come out maybe a little bit higher than normal, but not much. I mean, it plays pretty true even that way. These are going to be sort of your average pitchers here in the middle, your really great pitchers, and then your really bad pitchers. So that's kind of how that works out, especially in the 1940s. If you had a 475 FIP, you're probably not good. If these days, if you're a 475, you might be a little bit closer to average than far away from average. So it just depends on what area you're playing in and what run environment you're playing in. So that's a little background on base baseball. Again, if you want to check out the game, go to you can go to clarkandaddisongaming.com. Soon I'll be switching over On Base Baseball, the URL, to go to the new website. Right now it's going to the old one. So not every season is over there. So if you go to On Base Baseball or you find that online, you might find some of the seasons and some of the sets, the decade roster sets and stuff like that. But all of the new ones that I've been producing are at clarkandaddisongaming.com, and we're going to be switching over that On Base Baseball to go to the new website soon, and then you'll be able to learn more about the game by going to that link, and then also being able to purchase all of the games. So everything that was on the old site plus all the new seasons that I've released. I also make football games. I make basketball games. Up-tempo basketball is a great sort of medium play game. Somewhere it's full play in terms of play-by-play, but not quite as detailed as other full play games. And you can check that out at clarkandaddisongaming.com as well. And I also have a new football game. It's called Play Action Football, and another play-by-play football game, but also kind of with the corners rounded off. It takes a few shortcuts here and there, but you get the full gameplay experience, except you can play in 2 hours or less, which is not common if you've never played a football game. So maybe definitely approachable in 1 or 2 sittings to be able to play an entire football game. So that comes with team cards, but also there's an individual player finder that helps you to be able to assign individual statistics to players. So something to check out. And if you want to look around on this website, on the YouTube channel, we got lots of different game demos and things like that. You can look in specific playlists for different games, but you can also just kind of look in the game demos. That's a bit of a catch-all where everything gets put in there if it's a demo like this game here, where I'm just playing a full game. You can look in there and find it's football, basketball, everything gets kind of thrown in there. But if you're looking for something specific, you can look in a specific playlist and find games for that, including the On Base Baseball playlist, which has this game as well. All right, I think that's it. If you haven't subscribed, click on subscribe. New video content comes out multiple times a week, so it's a very active channel here. Lots of game announcements. You just got explained to what my thinking was with this game and a little bit of behind the scenes. So you're going to get a lot of that. I'm very open about the process of creation, and you typically get to see a game from the very beginning. I never show a game that doesn't work yet, and so unless I specifically did it for there was a series about how to create a tabletop sports baseball game that I had started, and from that point you can see like there was nothing there. But otherwise, if I show you a game, it's able to be played, and often I will put a demo out on my GitHub account, or I'll put it out to the Facebook group. So if you want to join the Facebook group, there's a basketball game there called Dice Basketball 2024 that you can play for free. I've rated the entire 2023 NBA season, and you can play that game for free. Just go to the files section of the Facebook group when you join, and you can download all those files for free. I've got lots of videos on here sort of introducing the game and full gameplay and stuff like that with Dice Basketball. I also created like a little fast dice football game that's play-by-play, but feels a little bit more like I was trying to get more of a dice baseball feel, where you roll once and you get most of your results off that first roll. It's a little bit less involved than play action football. It's a little bit more involved maybe than no huddle football, but uses dice. And again, the concept was just, why can't we make a football game as easy to play as APA or strap baseball, something like that, like the basic version, something like On Base. So I'm taking a lot of the concepts that I use to build on-base baseball and transferring those over to football and what that would look like. So that's a fun game, play-by-play, and really interesting sort of outcomes and ways that stuff happens with that game. I have kind of a run after catch or a yards after catch. Yards after catch, yards after contact, kind of built in. So there's a little bit of variability there as well. So it's kind of some fun things. You can download those files as well. It's called Dice Football. And you can download those files from the files section in the Facebook group. I'll put the Facebook link in the description and you can go there. Just answer a few questions. It's a private group, so there's no spamming or crazy posts or people in there that shouldn't be there. And so it's just about, if you want to learn more about Clark and Addison Gaming and want to get information about what's going on, sometimes I put special sales or you learn about a sale before everybody else does. Also, they're just special things. I don't release those games to every single group. So sometimes it's trying out a game and seeing, being able to get in on kind of the ground floor of shaping some of these games that I make, or concepts that I have, or what works, what doesn't work. And coming soon, I don't know how soon, I'll be working on it more. Precision baseball is what it's called, and I think I just need to get it out there and let people see it. Maybe I'll just release that to the Facebook group and let people try it, because I've got the 2022 season, not this last one that was completed, but the one before, and it's all finished, I think, and it's definitely playable. There's a lot more directions I want to go with it and more detail that I want to bring into it, but right now it's definitely playable. So I think I want to put that out there just for people to play and see what your thoughts are. It's using a lot more StatCast type advanced statistics. So a lot of these same numbers, but more fielding, more base running. It's more detailed in those areas. And it also is more detailed in its hitter-pitcher interaction, even though it's like a true 50-50 game. It uses 3D10 dice in order to get those results, which is super fine grain. That's like 0.001% per roll. So you get a lot more fine grain to the results. And the fielding system is kind of unique. It's not typical. It's a real heavy chart-based game. But there's a lot of detail in the game, which I think there's not a lot of heavy detail games out there. There's some medium detail games like a season ticket or inside pitch or something like that. But then there's a lot of fast play games like APA or Strat Basic. And then even the detailed versions of those games don't always feel they feel like you're doing a lot of work, but I don't always feel like there's a lot of detail necessarily in the game. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but just as I watch other people play. And so this game has a real sort of real-time look and feel. You have to go back. There's several games on here where I played the Braves against Arizona, and I don't know, there's some others. Where I played some games with precision baseball, kind of like where it is right now. The cards are colorful. They have a really unique kind of look and feel to them. There's some unique things as far as grounding into double plays and stolen bases and throwing out runners who are trying to advance. Like, there's a lot of detail work in the fielding and base running that I'm trying to pull out of the statistics that we have right now. So the game is never going to be a game where there are a bunch of old seasons. It just doesn't work that way because there weren't those sabermetric stats available. So it's mostly going to be for newer seasons, which I know is going to turn off like 92% of everybody who is in the cards and dice world. But I hope it represents a sort of new future going forward. If someone wants to get back into modern baseball, that they would be able to find a highly detailed game that sort of scratches an itch for getting more detail in the base running and the defense part. but also new and modern, accurate new and modern statistics, instead of having to try to guess at people's arm ratings or whatever it was from back in the day when we didn't really have those statistics to gauge defense or base running. We just have kind of guesses based off of their counting stats. So hopefully that game comes together. I was really working on the football game a lot this spring, and it's out now. 2007, that season will be coming out pretty quickly for play action football. It's essentially done. I wanted to kind of wait until this sale that we're having right now in baseball's, maybe wait until the draft and get a little bit closer to the draft before I release that. So I just want to make sure that it's got good timing before I send that out there. We have a sale going on through this weekend. It's 20% off of on-base baseball and quick play baseball, which is another baseball game that I have in production. You can find those at clarkandaddisongaming.com, and you'll see, if you click on the baseball link in the top right, you'll see all of the baseball games that are for sale. So go check that out, and that's a good chance to get on base free with this 1941 version, but you can get any of those other seasons for 20% off each, which is a pretty good deal, and a good way to start the new season. This is opening weekend. Braves are 1-0. They did a great job yesterday against the Phillies. Thought it was a little tight there for a while. But great pitching duel between Spencer Strider and Zach Wheeler. I look forward to the opportunity of that in the postseason. We'll see how that all turns out for each team. But big victory. They scored 7 runs in the 8th inning off the Philly bullpen, which is sort of the Braves' MO against the Phillies. Just wait till the starters get out and pound away at the bullpen. So hopefully that continues forward, and that they win this series. I think they've got 3 or 4 they're supposed to be playing there in Philly before they go to Chicago, which makes no sense that a team from the South is playing games in March in Philadelphia and Chicago at outdoor stadiums. I don't know. It's just beyond me. I know everybody should have like games at the early season at their home ballpark, and you shouldn't discriminate and stuff like that. But gosh, they've already been rained out once. They got rained out before it even got to the day. And it just seems like they could play in Atlanta, where the weather is going to be better than it is in Philadelphia in March. And it just doesn't make any sense. I remember the Braves played here at Wrigley like 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 2020, 2021, something like that. And just had a huge snowstorm. It was like 37 degrees. And I don't get it. Like, I don't get why you're playing baseball so much at the beginning of April in Chicago. I know you can't relegate those teams to playing somewhere else, but gosh, it's a real crapshoot up here. It's supposed to be 38 and rain on Easter. So, yesterday might not have been so bad, but boy, it's just kind of tough to be playing baseball in Chicago or playing in Detroit or something like that opening weekend. Hopefully they'll be able to schedule a little bit better than that in the future. I don't know. It just seems wacky to me that you would lose games like that for no particular reason. Anyway, that's my soapbox on modern stuff that's happening. I still love baseball, and I hope that you check out On Base. The game is super fun. I'm not a huge, I never grew up with tabletop baseball games or anything like that. I always played baseball games online. I still play on my phone all the time if I want to play sort of a immersive baseball game. I'll pull up one of the games on my phone or do a GM game that I have. And I still come back to On Base. I love playing it. It was the first game that I created, and I just have a real kinship with the game. Other people, I think, have found a real kinship with the game as well, and very appreciative of the community as they've adopted the game. You can find out more about it in the latest Sports Sim magazine. I I did an interview a couple years ago now, and it's just being published in this latest version. Maybe it was a year ago, and they're just now publishing it. But an interview about just where on base comes from, and some of the things I've already shared here at the beginning that or during this talk, and it just has a real special place because it's the first game that I made. It's been the most successful game that I've made in terms of adoption in the community and things like that. So very happy with it and very happy with where it's going and where it's gone. And if you have any suggestions to make it even better or suggestions for sets or things like that, maybe I can do another World Series set. I've got a 1970s World Series set, and maybe I can do the 80s, which would be fun to do the 80s. And it would be every team that was in the World Series in the 80s, just all in one set. So that 1970s set is a lot of fun to play. You get a lot of Reds in the 1970s and a lot of A's in the 1970s, and Yankees and Dodgers, and the Pirates are in there a couple times. The Orioles are in there. So you just, you get kind of these powerhouse teams from the 70s. And basically it's it's on-base baseball using the 70s game engine chart. But you have all the teams from the 70s who are in the World Series. So whether they won or lost, they were just in the series. They're in the set. So you even get the World Series losers. So you get you can play with Clemente, you can play with Seaver, you can play with all these guys. The Nolan, the guys from the Reds who were pitching back in the day, Louis Tiant. You get the 75 World Series. So it's pretty cool. You can play out any of those World Series. You can create your own tournament of champions kind of thing where you play all the World Series. There's 20 teams, and that's from 70 to 79. That's a fun season or a fun set, and doesn't cost too much. So you can pick that one up at clarkandaddisongaming.com as well. All right. I think that I've gone on enough. Hopefully you haven't fallen asleep yet, but have a happy Easter. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.